Welcome to HSR Motorsport. Hello and welcome indeed to HSR Motorsport. We are live for the GT3 ACC Season 7 Championship. And today you join us for round 2 here at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps. The circuit is legendary for many reasons, of course, playing host to many famous corners such as Eau Rouge, Blanchimont and Lacombe. Plenty of overtaking opportunities and plenty of challenges. First created back in 1921, 15 kilometres long. But over the years it has of course been shortened down to its current 7 kilometre long format and made a whole lot safer than it was back then. Similar to the Red Bull Ring where we were at last week for round 1. And fairly similar in age to Monza, so plenty of kind of how do you say it, comparisons or opposite? I don't know. Either way, good evening, Dutch Stig, Harold, and Valentine. Thank you guys for tuning in so early. Nice to see you all again. Now, of course, it being a championship and all, we are going to have some standings to talk about, but before we do those, let's see if we can maybe get a little bit of action for our AMs on track. That's right, we have 3 categories, Pros, Pro-Ams and AMs. And currently our AMs have got their allotted 10 minutes of practice time. So let's have a look at what they're doing. We're just taking a quick peek to see what they're up to. And it probably helps if I had this not on my Ultimate, but instead on ACC. There we go. Cool. Let's try that. Excellent. So, our AMs are currently on their 10 minutes of qualifying. They have 4 minutes left. And just to explain the entire format for everyone, it is a 30-minute split qualifying. That means it's 30 minutes of qualifying split into 3 different sections. We've got the first 10 minutes, the first section for the AMs, which are the guys with the red boxes behind their car number, as you can see in the top left hand side of your screen. Those are your AM drivers. You can also find that info on the bottom right hand corner of your screen as well. The next 10 minutes are going to be for the Pro-Ams, which are the grey boxes such as Campodix, Faciliadis and Hosco, and then the final 10 minutes are going to be for the pros such as Cartwright, Cepanidas and Nibta. Now, of course, with 3 minutes left in the session for the AMs, they are going to be approaching their last couple laps, potentially 1 or 2 more left, being optimistic about things, because of course it takes about 2 minutes to finish a lap here, so we're drawing close to the end for these guys. At the moment, Carl Banning in P1, but as I say that, Nicholas Montes has just come across the line to make an improvement. Antonio Rucroft has had an improvement in a couple sectors, but let's see what he can do across the line. Unfortunately, no improvement really for them, but almost called him a McLaren driver, the Aston Martin driver in that blue livery that we love so much. Nick Brum on a massive improvement through Sector 2, and we'll come straight back to him. But before we do, we shall have a look at the standings. Of course, it is round 2, so a bit early to decide who is going to win. At the moment, Nicholas Montes is leading with Nico Ziludis P2 and Carl Banning P3, while Rucroft and Stephen bring up P4 and P5. Again, listen, there's a spin for Brum, even though he was on an improvement. Yeah, unfortunately, just not quite able to hold on to it in the bus stop chicane, losing the rear. So hopefully this next lap he can put in a good one and make up some time. He's got 2/10 to Malott and then a massive gap to the cars ahead. So we'll see how this goes. We'll keep an eye on it. Other drivers in the championship, we've got Freddie Davies in P6, Dylan Matthews P7, while Johan Huben, Malott and Brum then round out your top 10, while Zawada was P11, the last driver, last race, the driver in last place I should say, not the last driver, there? I don't know, it just sounded very odd to me. Brum has pulled over to the side of the road, so I assume that's his qualifying session over, and unfortunately not able to improve. He was on a good improvement through the first couple sectors on the previous lap, But I think he's just decided, nope, he's had enough. He'll take it as it is, see how it goes. We're currently following John Malott in his Nissan GTR, the HSR Zilla. And always Malott has got these very entertaining livery designs. Always absolutely stunning. Hey, Mikael Topinka. Hey, Thomas TSH. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, I'm sure you guys are gearing up for your qualifying sessions. I know, Topinka, you've got your work cut out for you in McNair, who's currently P22 on the standings board on the left, but of course they haven't even started their qualifying yet. So things to expect in the race, plenty of overtaking opportunities. We have got 30 odd cars participating tonight. We've got 31 drivers in total so far, and of course qualifying can still allow for other drivers to enter as well, but we will have our first batch of drivers exiting into the pit lane, with John Malott opting to come in just after his final flying lap. Nico Zilladis deciding, nope, I've just passed the start line, I can still finish my lap with a couple seconds spare. I'm not even sure he'll make it to the end of the pit lane before the Pro-Ams come out on circuit, which will be slightly disconcerting for all of us. Mumtaz off into the grass. No, Zilladis decides he's off as well. Carl Banning making his way around. He will be the final driver for the AMS to set a lap time, the number 987, currently on a hot lap and already in pole position. He lost it briefly to Mumtaz a while back, just when we were about to say who it was who took pole position, and then obviously Mumtaz stepped in. So at the moment, really, Banning's not really got anything to worry about. All he has to do is just finish this lap, and that'll be it. Only thing here you can really improve on, or that will really benefit him, is to, just post the fastest lap and then just qualify higher than some of the Pro-Ams, just so that he's got a better security to the Pro-Ams behind. And yes, Dutch Stig, I do look at your Twitch chat, and I can see an angry bunny. And all it says for me is message deleted, Dutch Stig terminated, stop spamming emotes from the Nightbot. I am not in control of the bot. I don't even know what they do, to be honest. But Banning then into the pits after an off. I'm sure just an invalidation. That's enough to kind of force his hand, really. Now we've got the Pro-Ams out on circuit, though. This is going to be interesting. What Pro-Ams do we have? That track map isn't full. That is very disconcerting. Let's see if I can get that working. Hold it. Because that is very odd. I don't like having the short track map on. Never mind. Cool. So we've got the Ferrari of Philip Camperdix here. Who is going to be ahead of him? We've got George Vasiliadis making his way around circuit as well. Walter Johnson, one of the new guys, another South African. And I actually met one of my fellow South Africans IRL. Unfortunately, he wasn't part of the HSR community. I mean, I don't know, maybe he is. But no, I just met him at a cafe. Oh, no, not that. Let's see, staying for Ornekid, making his way through Eau Rouge and Radillon now. Nick Novell currently coming up to the bus stop chicane to start it. Same for Josh Redhead, and Thomas Lenartas just starting his lap, also heading through Eau Rouge now. We've also got Roman Hosko out on circuit tonight, the absolutely blisteringly fast BMW driver who claims to be a Pro-Am and has on numerous occasions been moved to Pro. Harold the Cook also out tonight. Joseph Puller also out on circuit, with Guido Martinez just coming up to the bus stop now. Either one of the first or one of the last drivers to start a flying lap. I guess we'll find out now. If it gets logged, he was the first. If not, he is on his flying lap right now. Of course, still sporting the Polizia Locale livery. I love it. Always reminds me of the British bobbies, the British police, just the same colours. For a second there, it looked like Camperdics and Vasiliadis were right next to each other. Yeah, I don't know. The gaps sometimes are just weird. Control M changes track map in car. I don't know if it works in broadcast, says Valentine. Control M. Shift M. Shift M does the trick. Ah, yes it does. I thought I knew what I was doing in ACC. It turns out I actually don't. Hosco with a 217, a whole second and a bit ahead of Banning for P1. Camperdics comes across the line now, set a 217.2, but unfortunately an invalid 217.2. And Dutch Stig, looks like you're still spamming plenty of messages in chat. The bot doesn't like it apparently. Sakura currently in P5. That's another Pro-Am that has managed to set a valid lap time. Same for Waller Johnson, currently 8/10 off of Hosco. Now, a quick little reminder of the standings for the GT3 Pro-Ams. Of course, it being only the second round, whatever they finished in last race, that's going to be their order now. So Thomas Lanartas won in the Pro-Am category, with Stein van Onneker P2 and Emre Ozduru, the final man on that podium. We've got Sakura in P4 with Guido Martinez in P5. We then have Vasiliadis, Hosco, Johnson, Camperdics and Puller, your top 10, followed by Harold de Kock, Nick Novell, Josh Redhead, Nicholas Zan, and then Tim Newberger, who DNF'd actually in P15, and that was pretty much most of your Pro-Am grid. There are 18 drivers, only 15 participated last week. Well, I say only 15, that's pretty good. Nightbot not liking me for caps use, even though it was a emote. I don't know, maybe emotes use capital letters, or no, they I don't know. I don't know anything about these bots, to be honest. I just stream. I just click connect, start stream. I just make sure I've got the right stream key, and then voila, magic happens. That's about the extent of what I do when it comes to the Twitch or YouTube side of things. And then of course some of the graphics and stuff, but that's on OBS. So I just make sure I don't click stop streaming, because otherwise that would be not ideal. Where will Camperdics come across? Camperdics in P3 with a... almost tried calling out the time without an actual time. A 217.9. However, Roman Hosco continues to improve on his time. A 216.7. However, Newberger is hot on his heels. Only a tenth or two behind in the Audi of all vehicles. We've got another Audi Schwanner in P22 on the left-hand side of the screen, which is also going to be another driver to keep an eye out for. Yeah, I'll just press the big go live button, that's it. Yeah, that's it. You got it, Dutch Stig. That's it. Or, in the case of last week, then it was even... It was the only thing I did. I didn't even get to play around with no fancy graphics or anything. I just had to kind of wing it. Because, of course, if you weren't there last week, I streamed Le Mans Ultimate for the first time. And, yeah, didn't realise you had to go through a process to get some of the overlays and stuff up. I thought it all came as part of the game, just like in F1 24. And, yeah, it turns out it didn't. But I figured it out, so next week there will be a full overlay. I'll even have some really fancy telemetry and stuff that I've never used before, but I'm looking forward to using, and I've actually got some practice for it tomorrow coming up with another race, so I'll be able to practice that and then see how that goes. I reckon it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Waller Johnson on a big improvement, 6/10 up as they come out of the second sector and into the third. He will, of course, need to push very hard if he wants to start challenging for podium and pole positions. He's currently a second and a bit off of pole position at this point on a 217.8. I do love the South African flag, very proudly displayed on the rear bumper and on the side. Yes, it's nice being able to keep an eye on your own community's drivers, Dusty. Yeah, absolutely. I get to keep an eye on, I think it's Jordan and Mishka in the ONID Endurance Championships, because usually I'm looking at their rear bumper. I'm usually not in front of them, and on the odd occasion I am in front of them. We somehow end up behind them. Johnson with a good lap though, half a second off of Hosko, and Newberger actually takes pole position by 2/10 from Hosko. Some good battling between these two in the near future, I reckon, into the race, and their qualifying session is over. Same for Pullard, Redhead and Van Orneker. Redhead, the birthday boy, actually. I believe it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, mate. I've said it about twice already, but happy birthday a fourth time. If you win today, that would be marvellous. Great birthday gift. Yep, go for it, Dusty. You got this. You'll be alright. I believe that's Kurt Peters. I think that's good. But then, no. Is it? Because I think... No, I'm sure I've seen Kurt Peters' account as Kurt Peters. I don't know. Wooler Johnson, though, he's going full send, same as Osduru, Novell, Martinez and the Cock. Let's see where they all come out. Martinez P11 at the moment, Novell P14, as they all come to the end of their laps. Thomas Lenartas also on a flyer. Lenartas currently in P30, and he did set a 217.7, but it was an invalid lap, so he just needs to set a valid lap, and that will improve his position. We don't see him on screen though. We are currently following Mr. Johnson. We've also got Harold the Cook on a 1.1 second improvement into the third sector. He's the car just ahead in that Honda, and Wooler Johnson himself not really able to improve through the first two sectors. Can he make an improvement into the couple final corners? Oh, number 6. There we go. Sorry, I didn't realise that number was his car number. I thought it was the position he was aiming for. Anyways, yeah, number 6, Nipta. There we go. So he'll come out soon. Johnson across the line. Unfortunately, no improvement for him. Lenartas, though, P4. Good stuff. Coming all the way from P30. Great improvement from that driver. And we've got the first couple pros coming around the bus stop chicane now. Mikhail Topinka going to be leading this field into the final 10 minutes of qualifying. And of course, he is our only two-time HSR GT3 ACC champion, looking to make it a third time, our only three-time champion. However, he does have some stiff competition in McNair, who's currently P28 on the standings board in the Nissan. And my question is, has he been sponsored by Iron Brew yet? Because if not, I will be very disappointed in Iron Brew. Because this guy is an absolute legend. He's been the only driver that's properly challenged Topinka this season so far. Again, I know it's only the second race of the season, but if we can challenge Topinka on the first race of the season, you know it's going to be a tough season for Topinka. So McNair, he's going to make it hard on him. He's going to make it hard on Topinka. He's going to be pushing him all the way. And I would love to see Mr. McNair on that top step. I would love to see a Nissan GTR taking the race win. I would love to see an Iron Brew sponsored car on the top step. I'm not sure whether that was more Irish or Scottish. I have to say my accents are terrible. I do apologise. You guys are going to suffer over the course of this season. I had to commentate for a F124 league a couple of weeks ago, and there's a team called the Formula One Academy France. I think I told you guys this last week as well, but basically the way they spelled it is not formula, it's formula with like an E at the end instead of an A. And then by the time you got to F1 Academy, it wasn't just Academy, you know, Academy. It was Academie, so even the French spelling of Academy. By the time it got to that stage, the word France at the end turned into a French way of saying it. It turned into a France. So it started out Formula One Academy, and I lost it there many a time. But towards the end, I managed to shorten it down to just F1 AF, and that saved me, saved my spectators, the viewers, from having to hear my French accent all the time, which is admittedly worse than my Scottish accent. I don't know why I'm playing around with the accent so much. I'm a South African speaking British English, dropping the T's and all. So I mean, yeah, accents aren't really, outside my capabilities. Hey, hashtag broken leg racing Hosco. How you doing, mate? Considering that you've put that thing on P3 with a broken leg, yeah, that's very impressive. So for those who don't know, Hosco is currently P3, and this week he managed to break his leg doing some motocross, and he is still at it racing and has managed to take P3 with a what was it? What was the lap time again? It was a 2:16.7, only beaten by Newberger at 2:16.5, and Pinker is currently just under a 2:16.5. None of the other pros have even beaten Hosco, so yeah, no, I reckon after this race you should I think you should be pushed up to pro, mate. You can't sandbag this. You tried it one season, it didn't work. It's gonna be rough on you. Just looking at the standings now, the top four, including the Pro-Ams, are all German manufacturers. You've got Topinka in the Porsche, followed by Newberger in the Audi, Hosco in the BMW, and Schwanner in the other Audi, currently P4. We've then also actually got another German just 2 positions down. We've got Lanartas in P6, the driver who did so well. Hosco saying he should have broken the other one and Pinky dominance would be over. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, they're sandbagging you. Yeah. I mean, I was in a voice chat with a couple guys just before the race started, and they were all saying, "How are you a pro-am?" So no, I think the general consensus is that you need to be bumped up, mate. I think the general consensus is you're a bit too quick for pro-ams. So, yeah, if Craig Hewlett is watching this, or any of the admins, I guess, yeah, if y'all could bump him up, I think everyone would appreciate it. Schwanner unfortunately unable to improve on his lap time. Topinka though still extending his lead over the field with a 2:16 dead almost, but McNair is coming across the line now to improve on his time as well. Let's see, up to P12, but that's about it. Nipter just behind in the Bentley for the DSR TRJB Solutions car, the other Bentley. Again, I swear DSRT are taking over the server, man. I'm not complaining, though, because these guys are fun, fast, and entertaining to watch. Andrei Bartek off at the bus stop. No. Off at Lacombe, I think. Yeah, into Melmedy. What's happened there? We can get a quick 30-second replay on that. So, into the braking zone. Through the right hand and just a little bit of oversteer, corrects it and finds himself on the inside of the curb. Actually, if he'd held the brakes, he would have been right in the centre of the circuit, which is not ideal. So, top job there, sir, for maintaining your momentum. I think holding the brake rules, they make sense if you're doing, if you're all over the place. But for something like that, where actually holding your momentum will get you out of the situation, yeah, that's a better way to do it. Maurice Schwann also slow, currently P4, but he is allowing that Bentley pass. Again, P6, not P6, number 6 Nipter, as we were talking about earlier. currently down in P13, but Schwanner pulls over to the side. 1 minute left in qualifying. That is his qualifying session over. Kurt Peters in the Lexus pushing though. He's got a 0.3 second improvement as he came out of the second sector into the bus stop. Let's see, can he improve his time? 3/10. Where will that put him? That'll put him up into the top 5. Where though, Miro's just put a time up there as well. Peters only able to put in P6. He does have one more lap to go though. Miro in the BMW ahead. Also, look at that, DSRT. Not DSRT, a Quantum Elements car. Tupanides pulls over. That's the end of qualifying for him. P9 is the best he could do. Miro up to P4. Schwanner drops down to P5 as Nipta makes it up into P7. And that's qualifying over for him. The Bentley managing to put that car up in a good position. McNair, unfortunately, unable to improve. He's still stuck down in P13. All our pros have managed to set a lap time, except for Cartwright. Except for Cartwright in the Muttley racing machine, and Reese Valentine in the red McLaren, yet to set a lap time as qualifying is formally over. 3 minutes to go, as the drivers now make their way around the circuit for the final time this evening before the race starts. Number 88 will be the first across the line. Reese Valentine making his way through Blanchimont and into the bus stop now. This will be crucial to see where he comes out. It's his first valid lap time. He will undoubtedly have had a couple of laps before this to get his brain into gear, to try and get up to speed. Now, culmination of his efforts, up to P13, faster than McNair. Who will be next? Kurt Peters, number 77, will be the next driver to come across the line, who's currently in P6 in that Lexus, just managing to keep it within the white line, and he is on an improvement coming out of Sector 2. How much though? Again, he's going to be fighting hard against Schwanner and Miro to try and make some improvements up into the top positions. Next will be number 627, who's going to be a little further down the grid. Number 88, yeah, Valentine, that's his session over. Nipta is going to be the penultimate driver to come across the line. Peters, where will he come out? Across the line, P6 for him now, but P3 now, half a second off of Peters. We've then got Colin McNair going to be the final driver across the line as the final couple drivers make their way through. Nathan Cartwright makes an improvement up to P21. Reese Valentine is still P13. Nipta still in P7. McNair, what can he do? Can he make an improvement? Can he find himself a better position? No, he can't. That is it. And that is the end of qualifying right now. We will be back in just a few moments, however, for the race starts. As usual, grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, and we'll be right back for the race. Hello and welcome back to the HSR Motorsport ACC GT3 Season 7 Championship, and today you join us for round 2 here at Spa-Francorchamps, a very legendary circuit indeed, 7 kilometres long, and its first motor race was meant to happen back in 1921. However, only one driver signed up, and instead they had 23 motorbikes race. But tonight, at least, we have got more than one sign up. We've got 31 drivers on circuit today, putting in their bids to get some good positions. We've got some support for Hosco in the chat, with Elba Castro saying broken leg, broken record indeed. Go, 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 big Hosco indeed. Cool. So, I actually did forget to run through the pro standings, but we'll get into that as the drivers start their formation lap. What we will do as well is go through the grid real quick. We've got Mikael Topinka on pole position, of course he is, with Tim Newberger alongside a Pro-Am. Kurt Peters is in P3 with broken leg Hosco in P4. We've got Tim Miro in P5, Maurice Schwaner alongside, Gabriel Nibter in P7, while Walla Johnson, the South African, P3 for the Pro-Ams. We've got Marius Tsapanidis in P9, Thomas Nartas alongside in the Audi. Lots of German machinery, such as Andre Batek, until we get to Philip Camperdix in P12. Reese Valentine in the McLaren and Colin McNair in the Nissan help break up the German field. We've got George Vasiliadis also contributing to that effort in P15, while Carl Banning comes back to put in some more German effort in the 987. Joseph Puller doing the same with Josh Redhead in P18 as well. We've got Steen van Orneker in the Bentley, the 666, as Nicholas Mumtaz lines up alongside him in P20. Nathan Cartwright in P21, the row behind, while Akedo Martinez keeps him company. We've got Arakon Sakura in P23 in the Aston Martin, with Emery Ozduru alongside as well. Nick Novell rounding out one of your final Pro-Ams in the Porsche, while Nico Zilidis is P3 in the Am class, and Cook rounds out your final Pro-Am of the grid. We've then got Tony Recroft in the Aston Martin running his lovely blue, white and red colours, Nick Brum in P29, and then John Malott P last in his HSR Zilla. So, we were talking about our standings for the Pro class. Now don't worry, they're not full sending it yet, are they? I think I just missed the race start. I didn't realise it was a short start. Anyways, maybe I did just miss the race start. Topinka still in P1, Newberger in P3 with Hosco P2. Let's see if we can maybe actually get a restart of that, because I didn't actually see that. Or, sorry, not a restart. They call it a replay, yes. They call it a replay. So here they go, alongside for the race start. And, yeah, I didn't realise I missed it. I missed it. I guess it does make sense that you don't actually go for a full flying lap before you start. But let's have a look at the race replay then. We've got Topinka on the inside. The lights go green. 31 drivers launch themselves down to turn 1. Topinka easily ahead by turn 1. Hosco tucking in neatly behind in P3, while Schwaner then gets assaulted by some of the other drivers behind. We've also got Tebek in the background going off. I can also see the Iron Brew car doing quite well, and that was the race start in a summary. I do apologise for that. So Topinka manages to build a gap, with Hosco making his way past Newberger actually just a few seconds ago, and Newberger actually feeling the pressure, being overtaken by one of his own. Schwaner in the 94 making his way past for P3. Let's see what Kurt Peters can do in the Lexus. He's alongside as they head through Blanchimont, and that is going to be an easy position made for the Lexus as well. The loss of momentum out of that final corner did not help at all. However, Gabriel Nipter is under threat from the Ferrari behind as well. Camperdix trying to make a little bit of ground on his brothers and sisters up in P2 and P3, but that's going to be a big ask for the Ferrari driver. And that concludes lap 1, a very short lap 1 it feels, as they now head into turn 1, with the Ferrari still on that inside, looking for that position. Camperdix making his way past, not quite there yet. The Bentley in a straight line, managing to pull ahead just about as they head into Eau Rouge and then Radillon. How will their momentums? How will the momentum compare between the two? The Bentley's gone out wide, taking that defensive line, and the Ferrari is looking for space around the outside, looking for an opportunity into Lecombe. He'll have to suck back in for the slipstream, though. The Bentley not quite giving him enough space, but the BMW behind will seem to almost have a little look down the inside. Almost. It almost seemed like he wanted to go for it. It was close. It was close. This is what it looks like from the front splitter of Nipte, and this is what it looks like from the rear wing. And as you can see, he's got a whole load of drivers behind him. He's got about 3 of them lined up. He's got Camperdix, Tsepanides and Lenartas all showing they want to get past, especially Camperdix and Tsepanides. Tsepanides is going to be the driver that I'm sure Nipte is probably the most worried about when it comes to the championship standings. However, when it comes to race position, it is obviously going to be Camperdix. He doesn't want a pro stuck ahead of him as he tries to catch up to the guys such as Miro, Peters and Schwandner. He's actually just within a second of Miro, but Miro himself is currently trailing behind the BMW. Sorry, not the BMW, the Audi and the Lexus ahead behind Neuberger and Peters. Peters is also a HSR champion, looking for his second this season, and unfortunately not able really to do much last race. Only P7 for him in the number 77. Is it fate? Is it a curse? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Currently, Neuberger, though, looking to take back that position from Peters, who is in P4, and tried to catch up to Hosko, who is in P2. But as I'm sure you guys heard earlier, I reckon these guys are going to get moved. Neuberger and Hosko are probably going to be pushed up to the pro class, but we'll have to wait and see what the admins decide. In the meantime, we can watch this battle between Tsepanides and Lenartas. Lenartas in the Audi coming in the inside for turn 1, and he's given enough space and easily takes the position. The BMW a bit wide on the exit. Oh my goodness, there's contact, but Tech into the wall as he gets spun round into the pit lane wall and is currently dropping down the grid. He is now P17 and does make a good maneuver to cross the track and make a better re-entry. Oh my goodness, watch out for any other cars though. Yeah, that was, oh my goodness, there's contact there from the Ferrari coming past as well. Cartwright not quite happy with that move. Actually, I think that was that De Kork? I'm not sure. I think it was De Kork, yeah. But anyways, De Kork has got his own battle to worry about. He's got Valentine just ahead of him. He's trying to make a position into the next couple corners, into the S's of turns 2, 3 and 4. Well, sorry, 4, 5 and 6 actually. Turns 2 and 3 are Eau Rouge and Radillon. Anyways, we've got Rucroft also up there, P22. Good start for him. Oh my goodness, a bit of oversteer from the Ferrari. Just about manages to keep it out of the wall. Is it a resafe jointly? Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, almost into Bartek again. And this poor man has had a not very good few minutes recently. Camperdix still on the rear end of Nipte, though. 0.2 seconds between them. A closer gap is Tsepanides and Lenartas. Of course, that position swap we saw into turn 1. The BMW, of course, not quite happy to allow the Audi to get away with that, but I don't think he's got much of a choice. He's got Wooler Johnson to worry about, 3 seconds behind, who managed to set a time 0.6 faster, but I believe that might be because of the turn 1 incident. 0.4 seconds between Carl Banning and Wooler Johnson, so actually Johnson's got a lot more to worry about. Banning, though, he's loving this, though. He is a massive 6 positions ahead of Mumtaz when it comes to overall position. So, you know, he's fine. He's happy with where he is at the moment. He's got all the security in the world to the cars behind. A bit of oversteer from the Audi and the BMW in the background, as we can see there. The bus stop is very famous for all the oversteer that you can get out of the corner and into it as well. Josh Redhead, some tight battles here. Rucroft, Redhead and Batek. These guys are fighting. I actually saw a clip of me the other day saying this. I think it's hand, foot and... No, I said hand, foot and claw and that wasn't quite right. eye-tooth nail? I don't know. 3 body parts, I just don't know what. Redhead going around the outside, trying to use his head, trying to get the cut back, and he's got a better exit than the Aston Martin. He has indeed used his head to get a better exit out of that corner. Who is going to have the stronger mind, though, into Eau Rouge? At the end of the day, the Aston Martin pulls in behind. Yeah, Rucroft, that was going to be a tough ask to try and keep that going. Redhead actually almost into the wall there at the top of Radillion, but that has allowed Rucroft to catch up again. He's only 0.2 seconds behind him now, 0.3 seconds. He's got the well, I almost said DRS, the slipstream still on the inside there, but nothing on the cards for the Aston Martin. I think that is the move done for Redhead. Rucroft not quite able to hold on to that. Harold the Cook, though, right up behind Zilidis, trying to make up some ground past the AMS, but it doesn't seem like he can manage to do that very well. He's on a 227 compared to a 225 from John Malott. However, we do have a massive battle here going on between Lenartas, Nipta and Tsapanidis. Again, Lenartas making some good progress up the field, right up behind Nipta, and Tsapanidis is just waiting to get to kind of take advantage of a bad situation. It seems as though Campanix didn't make his way past Nipta. We'll have a look at that, see whether there was any contact as well. I'm sure there must have been. Lenartas still right up behind the Audi. There's a small gap to the Bentley. The Audi himself has got some slipstream as well into the bus stop. This is going to look entertaining. We've got the Audi looking to the inside. Yes, there it is. The BMW still a little far back. Isn't an overshoot from the Audi? A little bit. The Bentley managed to pull alongside. Nipta on the exit, though, still side by side with the Audi. Who can get the better exit? He's got the inside line for turn 1, trying to open up that line, but Lenartas is not budging. He's still in the centre of the circuit, pulls out to the side, and the Bentley has no choice but to break in a straight line down the inside. Those the BMW, though, alongside, almost 3 wide into Eau Rouge. Is this gonna be possible? No, it isn't. They pull back in behind the Bentley. Lenartas still holding on to that position by the skin of his teeth as they head through Eau Rouge. What will the exits compare, though? Again, over the curb, cut the corner. Will he get a track cut? I'm sure he will. There is so much pressure on him right now, and in the background, you've got Johnson also getting involved. In all that, you've suddenly got the BMW pulling over to allow him a little bit more space to try and defend his position into turn 4, and now that Johnson guy, I don't know why I called him that, Johnson is on the inside for turn 4, on the outside there as they head out of turn 6, and he's getting involved with Tsaparinas now for P10. Great bit of racing that. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Very entertaining. Okay, I'm sure we will see some more. The current view from Lenartas' rear wing. You can see BMW and a McLaren. It's actually Nipta I wanted to see, because Nipta has got that Audi right up behind him as they now head into the double S's, I guess you could say, into La Fana, turns 11 through 13, and that is the Audi straight up into P8. Good move from the Audi, great move. But now we've got Lenartas also behind, looking to make a similar position, and my replay button is still on. I just realized that. Right up behind him is the BMW, trying to get some slipstreaming. And at the moment, yeah, Nipta feeling the pressure. Johnson also trying to make a position here as well. Lenartas, yeah, still up in there. He's managed to get a little bit of a gap. The Bentley defending from the BMW. Through Blanchimont we go. Johnson able to improve maybe a little bit. The BMW taking a little bit of curve as well into the bus stop chicane. The Bentley thought of defending it. There's nothing you can do about a rampant BMW down the inside, though. Again, good space given by the Bentley. Allows the BMW to come through. But now Johnson is alongside him for turn 1. He's on the inside. Similar move to what we saw the Bentley try and do in defense the lap before, but now he's using that tactic against him, and the McLaren opens up the corner a lot. He's opened that corner as much as he can, and the Bentley has no choice, nowhere to go. He gets a little punt, a little hip check, and at the end of the day, Johnson comes out ahead. But you can see Nipta isn't quite happy about it. He did flash his headlights. He was like, I didn't like this, but in the end he had no choice. So, at the end of all of that, everyone managed to get past Nipta. Nipta, struggling, the number 6, dropped down to P10. A little further up, though, we've got Miro in the BMW. coming up behind Mr. Camperdix. I believe that was actually Camperdix who made the position. Camperdix also one of those Pro-Ams maybe that should be up in Pro. Well, it seems to be like it. He's chasing Tim Newberger, and Roman Hosko has actually just swapped positions with Schwanner. Schwanner is now currently in P2, not Roman Hosko. Something happened there. I think potentially a mistake from Hosko. Is that broken leg giving him a few hassles? We've got number 17. No, we don't actually have a number 17 collision. Let's see if we can get a 30-second replay on this. So it was actually a good move down the inside. The Audi forcing his way down and Schwanner making the position. Wow. Good stuff. Just forcing his way by. Lovely. I would say that's a good move. I would say that's a good move. He deserves that position for that move. And then, of course, Oscar has no choice but to take it. Zilidis, right up behind Rucroft. Again, we saw a lovely battle between Rook. Actually, we never found out what happened. We need to have a look at what happened to Batek again. Do we, though? No, I think it was a different collision that happened. I just can't remember what. I know, well, I mean, we saw Batek's one, not really too much to talk about. Nick Broom, though, an incident down in Lefan, turns 11 and 12. What's happened here? Again, quick little 30-second replay. Let's go for it. So here we go. Through turn 11, a little too much curb, and oversteers and stares at a wall. About as good as it could have gone, I reckon. He could have hit the wall. That would have been worse. Then you've got aero damage potentially. I'm not sure how reliant the Honda is on aero, though. So I don't reckon it would be too bad if he did actually hit the wall. But he's back up and running now, so that's all that matters. Broom's still running down in P27. Still pulling. We have got 2 retirements, which is, it's always unfortunate to see them happen. What we are not seeing happen retire, though, is Johnson and Tsapanidis going at it for P9 at the moment. Tsapanidis a little out of shape going through Lacombe and Melmedy. Still holding on to P9 at the moment in the number 84. And Johnson just on a cold, hard improvement. Just on his grind all the way up. And where has Nipta gone? Nipta is actually in Nipta's dropping. He's in the pits. Is Nipta gone for a involuntary pit stop or a voluntary pit stop? Where is Nipta? He's just in the pits. I don't know whether that's whether he's meaning to take it or whether he got forced to do it. Maybe he sustained some damage in all the overtaking. I don't know. All I know is Nick Novell is right up behind Von Onaker and Sakura here for P15, P14 and P13, with McNair in P16 behind as well. So there are plenty of opportunities for improvement here. However, Zilidis and Rucroft are an even closer battle down in P22 and P23. We've also got the Cork rider behind in the Ferrari looking to make an improvement up the grid as well. Not really too close a gap between Stein von Onaker and Sakura, 0.2 seconds, but we'll just keep an eye on them. These two have managed to open up the gap a little bit. Well, we just caught this in time. Stein von Onaker, rubbing his way past the Aston Martin, I guess you could say, and Nick Novell kind of squished up behind the Aston Martin. Sakura not really having a choice, and Nick Novell trying to defend from the Iron Brew car from the Nissan GTR into turn 1. He's done a good job, but on the exit, McNair's definitely got some acceleration in that GTR. He just had nowhere to go because the Porsche's right in ahead of them. Oh my goodness, and again, there's not enough space given by Novell, and McNair was there. I think there was a misjudgment there in terms of space. It could have been a closing window. There are so many things that you could say there. And a very opportunistic run from Mumtaz through that corner. Very good, though. Very, very decent. Let's see if we can maybe have... Well, I think we'll have a look at that incident in just a few moments. Then we can maybe have a look at it from McNair's perspective. See whether it looks like that gap was closing all the time. It's always better seeing it from the driver's perspective. Before we do, though, we have got Camperdix right up behind the Audi of Newberger. This is for P2 in the Pro-Am class. Again, these Pro-Ams that are actually pros at this point. You've got Miro in the background, an actual pro, having been overtaken by these two. And Camperdix has been making a very good improvement this race. He has been absolutely flying up the grid. He's done an absolutely momentous job. He got past Sapanides, he got past Anartas, Miro, and now up into P6. Camperdix is really pushing hard this race. The number 573 looking for an improvement up to P5 on the number 39. And that is the most numbers I've ever said in the last year, I think. Ever since I passed my A-level maths. Good battle developing here for P16. Nicholas Mumtaz at the front of the row with McNair ahead of him. Novell in the Porsche behind. Akido Martinez right behind in the police car as well, with Reese Valentine following in the McLaren. On the exit, any major improvements in terms of time on these drivers? Nick Novell a little bit. He's got Martinez behind him for position, for class position I should say. It is an actual position as well, so you never discount that. But for class position, yeah, he's got Martinez all over the back of him, and actually alongside now into the bus stop chicane, turns in and finds actually there's a BMW there and takes out Valentine in the process as well. Yikes, that has not been a very good sequence of events for the Porsche driver. The 888, one of the few Porsches out on circuit tonight, the one Porsche that isn't in P1, and I think Valentine has allowed him back the position, but he's gone and squandered it at turn 1 at the first opportunity, thrown it away, and lost P18 to Valentine. Frustrating, very, very frustrating for Novell. He's just had a terrible race so far. He's had, I mean, to be fair, we've only seen the one incident with McNair. I still want to look at it. I still want to see what's happening there. Cartwright is a yellow flag on circuit. Arakon Sakura, yeah, 0.3 seconds. Oh my goodness, here we go. All the action kicking off. Colin McNair once again getting involved. We've got Stain van Onneker in the, yes, it is a Bentley ahead. We've got a blue flagger in there as well. Nick Brum in the Honda pulling over. Again, so it's good heads-up driving from him. And looks like McNair managed to get past the Aston Martin of Sakura a while back and make an improvement. So McNair actually doing pretty good up into P14. Ooh. Sorry, just had a hiccup there. Up into P14. He's got Sakura though. Not quite happy to allow him that position back in the Pro-Am class. But I don't think he's really got much of a... I don't think he's much of a say in this situation. McNair already up there. Nicholas Mumtaz, some yellow flags here. Valentine, we've got again... Novell just absolutely sending it up the inside, and Mumtaz, he's got no choice but to allow him through. Valentine still in P17. Nick Novell, I think there was actually incident. I think there was an incident there. I need to see what happened there. Let's go for a 30-second replay. Yes, it is. Mumtaz with a massive drift through the double left-hander. Martinez goes past. Here comes Valentine, caught up just about, has time to react to it, and then down the inside comes Novell, and yeah. 3-4 positions lost for Mumtaz, I think, throughout the process. I think he only grazed the wall though, so it should be, he should be fine. Shouldn't be too bad, I reckon. He's got a redhead behind though, who actually ducks into the pits. Yeah, we do need to keep that in mind as well. Pit stop phase is about to happen. Again, Arakon Sakura still not quite happy and letting McNair get away with P14. He wants that position back so badly. He wants to start making some ground for Onneker. Although, to be fair, if they just work together, they can see Van Onneker right ahead of them, and they can then potentially gain some time on that Bentley, which I think is happening on that straight because McNair has also got some slipstream on that straight there. So these guys are busy working. They're playing their little game together, trying to work together to try and get this guy. Although, to be fair, Sakura's kind of just tagging along. At this point, he doesn't quite have the pace to keep up with McNair. Just to give you an idea of their respective lap times, their best and their... well, actually, it's quite close. No, actually it's not. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong drivers. Best lap time from Colin McNair is a 2:19 2:20.4, and the best lap time from Aracon Sakura is a 2:20.4, so a whole second slower on that. And their last laps were also a full second difference. Sorry, Jaden Black. Sorry, and in the chat, I didn't get around to talking about the skill level. Apologies for that. We just had a lot of action on circuit, so we might have some more. So that chat might have to wait for a little bit. We've got Newberger on Peters once again. These guys up in the top 5. Newberger doing well to come back after his initial drop in positions. He of course started in P3 but got overtaken by a few drivers right at the start. Lost his momentum fairly on, but he's managed to regain it now into the pit stop phase though. What will that do to his momentum, I wonder? He's also got Camperdix right behind him. He's done an absolutely fabulous job. Will he lose momentum in the process here? A lot of questions to be asked and a lot of questions to be answered. Another question to be answered is Colin McNair once again right up behind Steyn van Onneker. Could we see a move into turn 1? I don't know which battle to watch. I think this is going to be better because they're going to be going up into Eau Rouge now and out onto the straight. I'll keep an eye on McNair, but he's dropped back behind the other driver, and we've got Redhead just coming out as well. Watch out for that driver coming out of the pits, boys. Yes, all nice and tidy through there. The Ferrari actually onto the grass, so yeah, maybe not as tidy for Camperdix, but yeah, I think this might have to wait for another couple corners. Could we actually see Peters crack under the pressure here? As an HSR ACC champion, though, I don't think so. He's managed to keep us cool in some very dodgy situations or some really tricky situations. So yeah, sorry, Jaden Black. To answer your question quickly, there are varying levels of skill and a great level of skill to fit an Audi into that gap. A very tiny window for a very small car, and his side ways into the barrier we go, and Newberger into the wall. That is a huge loss for him, and he's parked in a very precarious spot indeed. We need a replay of that. Oh my goodness, and Camperdix, oh my goodness, Peters is killing people left, right and centre. We definitely need a 30-second replay on this man's kill streak right now. So here we go, there was the Audi, just managing to fit down the inside. Taps the rear end of the Audi, maybe just not enough space given, sends him into the wall, Camperdix alongside. Then you've got drivers in the background just clipping the wall on the way past. The Lexus still there down the inside and just not enough space given from the Ferrari as well. Goes spinning, just about manages to not clip Redhead. And of course then we've got the blue flag, a Redhead managing to maintain his momentum. And Tim Miro making the move on that back marker. So yeah, in the space of about 2 corners, Peters claimed 2 kills, and I'm not actually sure where they came out. So we had Camperdix, he's in P10 at the moment, and then of course Newberger in P17. So yeah, that went, so as you can see, Jaden, varying levels of skill. That was an HSR ACC champion at work, and now we've got a potential champion at work here down the inside, absolutely sending it down the inside into the bust-up chicane, just about gets it stopped, and now has lost that position and has actually reset because Sakura is now right behind him as well, looking for that position once more. Down the inside goes the Aston Martin into turn 1. And yeah, that's his position pretty much. However, on the exit, will McNair manage to get a better run out to turn 1? I don't know. It's close. 0.4 seconds between them. 0.3, so he has got a better exit. Through the corners we go though, up Eau Rouge and into Redillon. He managed to keep his momentum a little better, and that is going to be an easy pass by the time before they even get to the braking zone. Not by the, well, I mean, actually, his momentum actually kind of stalled now that he doesn't have the slipstream. So into the braking zone, Sakura is on that defensive line and doing a great job at defending that position. Good mid-corner speed from the Aston Martin as well. Saw a little bit of sideways action there, a little bit of neutral steer, and the AM is still ahead of McNair. So maybe last week was just something out of the ordinary, maybe? Nick Novell and Vasiliadis, wow! Well, we made it just in time for the dance. We made it just in time. Novell and Vasiliadis coming together at turn number 4. The Coombs, and they're back in the same order they were before. Under braking, just a little bit of contact between them, rear and front, and that's what happened. That's all that happened. Anyways, So, yeah, sorry, Jaden Black, to get back to your question, which was asked, how long ago? About 10 minutes ago. The skill level is varying. I'd say it's fairly decent. So if you can do a 217 on the circuit, you will be up there. You'll be up there in the top 5, I reckon. So just to give an idea of the lap times, our top 3 are currently posting 217 and 218.5, as well as some 219s. So really, it's yeah, I don't know. We've got 3 different categories. We've got AM, we've got Pro Am, and we've got Pro. AMs are the guys right at the bottom. They're going to be the... I always hate saying this, but they're going to be the slowest guys on circuit, or the slower guys. And then you've got the Pros, which are going to be the fastest, and Pro Ams are the guys right in the middle. And sometimes, most people think they're Pro Ams, and then either get demoted to AMs or promoted to Pros. And they also get promoted involuntarily when they win the championship for their class. So actually end up then having a load of Pros kind of racing against their will up in that category. So yeah, it really depends. The best way to find out would be to sign up to the league and then find out. Just sign up if there are any spaces available. Sign up, join us for a race. You could also probably ask all the drivers as well, even just joining the server. There's actually a link in the description on the YouTube side of things. Even just joining the server and then talking to the drivers is going to be a big help. That's you'll probably learn loads about the skill level and how quick you need to be, how quick most of the other guys are. Find out how serious it is, because some people really get a bit emotional. Hosko is one of those guys. Always a turn 1 incident for Mr. Hosko. Not this time round though. He's up in P3. Tsepanides and Nartas not looking for any incidents here. And I have a feeling we've seen this battle before, but this time it's the other way around. Tsepanides on the rear end of Lenartas in the Audi. Again, looking for a position back on him. And Waller Johnson in the background as always. Just lurking, waiting to take a position for free. As we do back in, or as many people do back in South Africa. That was a bit harsh. I do admit. I am not one of those people though, for sure. Valentine saying your game is messed up. Why are you teleporting? I don't know, mate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it happened. Currently P22 for the number 88. Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a struggle in the red McLaren. How bad is the teleporting? Is it properly like all over the place? Well, I mean, I suppose you can't really say anything unless you've got text-to-speech. I still don't know. I haven't tried out text-to-speech, to be fair. I might imagine, I mean, doing text-to-speech during a race, I don't know. Could be interesting, but I don't really want to find out because I'm usually too busy racing, and I've on numerous occasions forgotten to put in enough fuel. So I think holding an intelligent conversation while I'm driving is a little bit beyond my capabilities. And definitely not warranted since I'm not that fast, actually. One driver who is absolutely flying this race, though, is Mikael Topinka, as always, leading the race in P1 with Schwandner in P2. Kurt Peters is following him, signing off the podium positions down in P4 in that Lexus. He's got 2 kills to his name. A double kill streak for this guy, and Marius Tsepanides has got a yellow flag just on the exit of Melmedy, I believe. No, sorry, that's through Ravage, just after Ravage on that downhill section, and there is actually Sakura parked not too far behind as well. I reckon there was a blue flag incident here. I love blue flag incidents. Number 27 involved. Who is that? I don't know. Let's have a look at this replay. So we got Tsepanides here in the BMW. Lenartas ahead. Blue flags all around. Blue flags all around. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Comes to the inside and just turns in as if the Aston Martin's not there. And Valentine, of all people, piles into them as well. His game is already lagging all over the place, already teleporting. Unfortunately, unable to teleport out of that situation. Nico Zilidis also slow through there. Number 67, did he also have an incident right now? I don't know, number 88 and number 99. Who's 99? That is Johnson. Did he potentially get involved in that whole incident as well? Now, through all this, we have got the pit stops happening. You can see P15 onwards. They've got a little green square. Well, square, sorry. I did A-level maths a long time ago, right? That's a rectangle. The rectangle alongside their car number indicates their pit status. So if it's orange with a number 1, it means that they still need to make a pit stop. If it's green, that means they have finished their pit stop. So at the moment you can see P15 onwards have finished their pit stops, and we've actually got a couple of drivers in our top 10 doing their pit stops right now. That little white rectangle with the P in the middle indicates they are in the pits right now. Hosco joining them as well. Tapanir and Martinez alongside. We've got Topinka, the race leader, also pitting. So now is actually a good moment to look at some of the race replays, a couple of the collisions. So 85 is Malot. Not Malot, please no. I mean, to be fair, we've seen this guy karate chop someone in half 2 or 3 times, and believe it or not, it was actually a driver slower than he was. Oh, sorry, he was in the way. A blue flag, nothing major there. I always love it when the when the software goes, heads up, there's a red flag. Oh, well, no, it wouldn't be a red flag, would it? Heads up, there's a yellow flag, watch out, red, yellow, 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 full course, yellow. Oh, no, sorry, it's just a guy coming out of the pits. We had that at Snetterton in Season 6. I think we had 2 or 3 times where we had yellow flags, we were like, oh shoot, what's happening, anything major, and then it turned out to be actually just a guy coming out of the pit lane. So that was always quite entertaining. Melanie Johnson asking, where am I from? Also, my name is Yanis Meh, just in case you didn't know. So, or if you know me on Discord, Bolt. So it could be any of those. I have very many nicknames. So you can either call me Yanni, Meh, Bolt, Bolty. I've been called Bigfoot. I've also been called Riffraff. I've been called Stupid. I've been called the BFG. A man of great proportions and character, I hope, as well. Not sure whether that was a reference to my height. Probably is, rather than my character. But yeah, Melanie Johnson, to answer your question, I've been rambling a bit. I am from South Africa. So I know you can't tell it from my accent. I've been in the UK for 6 years. So yes, I have picked up a bit of an accent. However, I don't know, if I think about it too hard, I maybe turn back on my South African accent for a little bit. I do also speak Afrikaans. Now that is the one accent I can actually confidently do, because yeah, it's very easy. You just talk. I don't know. It's a very different style of talking. You just say you roll your R's very much. But I wasn't a boer. I wasn't a boer. A boer. Why am I saying it in the English way? Just say it in the Afrikaans way. I'm not a boer. No. Although I do love my boerewors. I haven't had a braai in so long. I would love a braai. We actually had some lovely weather today in the UK as well. Something like 27. Why have I scared you, Elba? Elba, sorry. Why have I scared you? Was it my rambling? Or was it because... was it my big talk? I don't know. All I know is we've also got a fellow South African, a fellow countryman of mine, currently sending it down, a Johnson as well. So I'm assuming there's a family relationship between the driver and Melanie. Let me know what the relationship is. I'm gonna guess it's, I don't know. Melanie seems, I think that's quite a female name. So I reckon it's either, I don't know whether it would be a daughter or wife relation. I think it would probably be a wife relationship, wouldn't it? But I've not seen very many men or very many husbands with wives who are into racing and actually watch the stream, unless they just want to see what their husbands are really up to. Yeah, sometimes they can get a bit intimate with some of the walls and cars, especially at Bathurst. Spa though, they have no worries. There are no romantic relationships to be had here, though. Although, actually, we saw Batek kiss the wall head on. Actually, well, he smashed his face in, didn't he? And a couple other incidents. Yes, called it. Ah, Milani. Yes, your husband. Amen. One day I want a wife like you. I want someone who can watch my race and be like, that's my guy. That's my husband racing. So the question is, though, are you in the same room and you're just relaying what I'm saying? You know, making sure that I'm not saying anything. Well, that I'm not calling him any rude names, and then you can tell him afterwards and be like, Yannis just called you a rude name. Because I think I had that with, I think it was Malott actually. I think no, it was one of the other drivers his wife was watching it on the, or I think he put it on the telly. No, actually it was an owned race. One of my teammates, and yeah, he put the stream up on the main thing, and his wife was watching it as well. So I mean, it's amazing. I don't know. There's just something about watching motorsport with other people that's just amazing, and especially family members. Hosco. Now I know Alba. Well, yeah, you did actually cheer me on as well, and I know you all are also cheering for Hosco, who's now on the rear end of Camperdick's. Almost going to get really intimate with that rear end, and into bus stop we go. The final couple of corners, turns 19 and 20, straight past, under braking though, not overshooting at all. In fact, Camperdix is the one who's gone deep, and now out the final corner, under throttle. Hosco managed to get that power down very easily, even with the broken leg. He's up into P9, and actually he's got Topinka right ahead of, no, he doesn't have Topinka ahead of him, because for some reason the timing towers are always obviously very accurate and never wrong. Thomas and Anarta is the cause of a yellow flag, but now all right. Maybe a little code brown moments through a route. I don't know. Waller Johnson, though, right up behind McNair. He wants some Iron Brew. And into the Redillon? No, past Redillon already. Onto the straight. Gosh, these cars are fast, isn't it? Into turns 4, 5 and 6 we go. Lacombe and Malmedy still not able to close on that Nissan GTR. I feel like Johnson's always been there. He's always had the momentum. He's always been there in the background, ready to pounce on anything happening, but unfortunately unable to make use of that position. And yeah, I guess just struggling to make those positions fairly easily. Nicholas Montes again the cause of a yellow flag out of Redillon, but I guess that's only him coming back out onto the track from the pit lane, I guess. And I also just had a comment, or I should say a chat on Twitch from a guy called Audible Landowner. It's got some random letters. Best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space. So I pronounced it wrong. It was streamboo.com. I don't know. I have no clue who that is or what that is. Cool. Thank you. Although I have to say, I'm not gonna lie. This is the best. The guys over on YouTube are the best viewers, in my opinion. We've had some family. We've had some girlfriends on. We've had some drivers on. It's amazing. Yeah, Alba Castro. Yeah, he hit the nail on the head. Got scammed by the leaderboard. I get. Believe it or not, I get scammed regularly by the leaderboard. I am a very cautious person in the real life, so I don't know why I trust this leaderboard. And Johnson relying on the Iron Brew McNair to give him some space around the outside, trusting him to turn a little bit early, and trusting him to give enough space around the outside, and he did. So that's amazing. It's always good to see the good racing here. We've also got actually Schwanner and Topinka swapping positions. Topinka fighting his way back up into the race lead. Schwanner did actually pit. A quick little aside note. Well, I say aside note. Actually, probably the biggest thing happening on track. A change for the race lead. I want to see that move though into turn 1. Topinka, I believe, also Hosco's mentor, or the driver that Hosco loves to hang out with. Yeah, Audi tried defending it into turn 4, though there was just nothing he could do. That Porsche was absolutely flying round the outside into turn 2, and he takes the position. And I thought for a second this was Neuberger, who is in the Pro-Am class, but it's a pro class. It's for actual class and full race position. So it was an actual outright move. It wasn't just because it was a class interference or anything. It was just straight up. What? And Johnson got past McNair. In all that, we missed it. How did we miss this? Actually, there's an incident. Actually, no. There's an incident. Don't rejoice. There is an incident between these two. We've got McNair. Yeah, it was McNair and Johnson with an incident. Let's see what happened. So, oh no, it was into the bus stop. Hey? I swear we've just seen this, though. Yeah, no, we did see this. So they swapped positions in the couple corners afterwards, and I am utterly devastated that we couldn't see where, because we suddenly had a change for the overall race lead. Oh well. My fellow countrymen making it up into P10, chasing after Camperdix right ahead. In terms of their lap times, he's half a second faster than Camperdix was, but his best lap time is a 10th off. I wonder whether Camperdix has maybe lost the momentum in that in the second half of the race compared to the first half. He was absolutely flying up the grid in the first half of the race, doing really amazingly, and then yeah, now he's just lost it. Whereas actually, well, no, Newberger is a lot further down. I believe actually I think actually Newberger retired. We've only got 26 cars left in the session. So 5 cars have retired at Spa. Yikes. 5 drivers have got intimate with the wall, potentially. Kurt Peters then still to pit with 16 minutes to go, going for the long race strategy. He is 37.5 seconds ahead of Mikael Topinka, and considering he stopped for about 30 seconds, yeah, he's going to lose out a little bit. So Topinka then realistically still our race leader with Maurice Schwann. I'm not sure whether it's Morris or Maurice. It's German, so I don't know. No, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. I just like the spiciness of Maurice rather than Morris, because that is a very British way to say it. Or we could say it the way the King Julian says it. Maurice! Thomas Lenartas in the Pro-Am class, leading the category actually. Roman Hosko with a broken leg trailing behind, 16 and 17 in P6 and P7. Interesting. I like that. I like that progression. And Waller Johnson actually off through the double left-hander of Pujon, turns 9 and 10. He's right up behind Camperdix though. Oh, he's gaining. He's gaining. Now it's just whether he can get past. That's the question. He managed to get past McNair somehow, and I wish I could see how that happened, because we were following them for quite a while. I really wanted to see what happened. You know, whether the Buyel engineering car managed to get past at turn 1, or whether it was into turn 4 into Lacombe. I don't know. Gabriel Nipter though looking for a position in Sakura, looking for P12 as they head out onto one of the final straights into turn 15. We go alongside Sakura, just easily being overtaken by the Bentley. Pulls back in for the slipstream though. Is he going to be able to make a move into the bus stop though? Will he have gained enough momentum from the slipstream? Carry enough momentum through that left-hander? I don't think so, no. It's going to be a big move from the Aston Martin to do that. It would be an absolutely massive send down the inside. Yeah, I don't know. My Julian accent isn't really good. I like it though. I saw a guy on Instagram do it, and I was like, I want to try that. And it was amazing. You sounded really amazing. It's basically almost like an Indian accent, but at the same time, you kind of need, I don't know, there's something else to it that I just can't quite put my finger on. It's just outside there. So yeah, quite a multilingual thing. Oh my goodness, here we go. Johnson though on the straight through on Camperdix. We caught this one just in time. All I saw was the green arrow, the tick mark saying he's passed. Come up on the green Ferrari of all things into turn 4. Another position made for Johnson up into P9. He's up into that top 10 and has actually made a position on one of his own. Currently P4 for his class. He now only has to catch up to Hosko, who is a good distance ahead if he wants a podium finish here. Let's see what that move was like though. 31 minutes ago, I reckon. I reckon that's long enough. So on the exit, turn 1. This is quite a big. This is going to be quite a long run. So on the front splitter we go. Let's see what the run through was. Yeah, just much better than the Ferrari. The Ferrari was really slow. And then through Radillon, through the right-hander, alongside, and he's passed before you can even get to the braking zone. Also, I do apologise for all the sniffing and stuff. Hay fever has struck the United Kingdom, and it basically sparks these minor, small epidemics, and we actually just see Johnson right up behind Cartwright as well. This guy is dropping drivers left, right and centre. The Ferrari killer on the inside, and he has indeed killed the Ferrari. Into the wall he goes, and Cartwright loses a position to Camperdix as well, and McNair will be coming past in his own class. He's still on that inside line though. Can he hold on to that position? Yes, he can, just about. The Scottish can't strike him, but the South African can. Yikes. That was massive. And Peters rejoins the circuit. In again, sorry, the leaderboard scammed me once again. Peters in P3 now, the number 77, doing a great job at his championship efforts. Colin McNair right up behind Nathan Cartwright now, and of course Cartwright has got the aero damage from that collision with the wall. He got very, very intimate really quick with that wall, and with Johnson, yikes, that was massive. We have seen many a car killed tonight. Let's see how that happened. That was Johnson, wasn't it, up in P9, so the number 99 and the 627. Quick little replay for you. So gaining, moves to the inside. Onto the helicam we go. On the inside into Blanchimont. Oh, pulls over to the side, and actually the Cartwright didn't actually get too much damage. He wasn't actually too bad. He just tapped the wall. So not too much damage for him. And Cartwright showing, not too much damage. Still ahead. 219.7 compared to the 219.1. So yeah, still a decent distance ahead. Although that was his best lap time, yeah. So Cartwright, still ahead. Still showing he's got the pace to stay ahead. All good. We still have cars that need to pit though, and we've got 10 minutes left in the race. That is a little bit concerning. So Tim Miro is one of them, the BMW driver, trying to build a gap on the cars behind, but at this stage you have to wonder, his tyres are falling off right now. So maybe he's going for a last few minute sprint and then just absolutely sending it. That's probably going to be it. And then you've got Stein van Onneker in the 666 Bentley leading the Pro-Am class, but Lanartas is basically gaining on him. And the gap between them is in excess of 40 seconds, I would say. So he's still going to come out behind them. Now, also, fun fact, Stein van Onneker did quite well in the LMU race last week. We do have a Le Mans Ultimate Championship running side by side with the ACC GT3 season. We are running Hypercar and LM GT3 as well. And last week was an absolute fiasco. Unlike Martinez, though, straight to the point, down the inside of Montas. The police strikes once more, and straight up the inside of the other BMW. Doesn't even care whether it's the same machine, whether it's another fellow German car, just straight to the point. Anyways, last week was a bit of a funny one. It was very interesting to see the stream there. John Malott also getting out the way there, and also another car getting out the way. Getting out the way very quickly. I don't know why I suddenly went German there. Tim Miro pits, and I'm rambling once more. Stein van Onneker in the Bentley, still at it, still going for it. And as it stands then, Mikael Topinka will resume the race lead here after Miro pits. Miro hasn't even stopped yet. He hasn't even reached his pit box. So Mikael Topinka then leading for the pros. P2 is Schwanner in the Audi, and then Kurt Peters in the Lexus. I'm not going to stop calling this man the only driver to get a, well, I don't know, Probably not the only guy, but the Lexus kill streak. Well, I don't know. I want to come up with a cool name for it, but this will only happen immediately once I click the stop go live button. Just like Nipta was saying right at the start, all I do is pretty much just press the big red button that says go live, and that's it. And yeah, the moment I press it, I'll probably forget. I'll probably then remember what I wanted to call him, or then come up with a really cool name, and then yeah, no one will hear it until the week thereafter, or 2 weeks actually, because then it's we've got the Le Mans Ultimate race then next week instead of the ACC GT3, and I think it stays. It keeps going between the two, so it's not going to be the same thing every time. Colin McNair down the inside of Cartwright into turn 1, had a look, nothing there, very slow through there into turn 11. Still the same positions, and actually we never got round to talking about the pro standings here. We've got Mikel Topinka obviously leading the championship, Colin McNair P2 with Marios Tsapanidis in P3, rounding out your podium, and then Andrei Batek and Maurice Schwarner in P4 and P5. Nathan Cartwright is P6 with Kurt Peters P7, Tim Miro, Reese Valentine and Adam Dutton rounding out your top 10. Some decent battling there, but of course we'll have to wait and see what today's results are, and then I almost said next week again, next round we'll be able to get a little more info out of it. I have got some info though on McNair. He's got a drive-through, and you can see that as well. So yeah, not great. Probably track limits, most likely track limits. So we don't have a steward here, and that was a lovely drift. That was a very cool drift from McNair. Neutral steer to the max. Well, that's oversteer, not just, well, neutral steer, maybe, a little bit. We've got another incident from John Malott. So let's see what he has done this time, the Zilla. So this is with the McLaren right behind him into the bus stop chicane. Please don't say you killed the McLaren. We've seen too many drivers just whack out someone else. Good space given there, good space from both of them. Round the outside. Oh. I am so happy that that I am not a steward, because that is not one incident I want to deal with. We also actually didn't get to see the incident between Novell and McNair actually when they were going up into Eau Rouge turn 2, and then saw the of course the door close on McNair. He sees a wide open door around the outside though into the bus stop chicane. Can he keep it round the outside? Well, nope, the Ferrari is still ahead, and actually McNair comes into the pits to serve his drive through with 5 minutes remaining. Stijn van Onneker still has not pitted. I wonder whether he has... No, he can't have pitted, otherwise he would be way further down. No, so Stijn van Onneker is still out there. Is he bargaining on crossing the line in the pit? No, but that wouldn't work out either. Trying to cross the line in the pits, he wouldn't have hit his pit box, because it only happens after turn 1. That is very odd. I wonder whether he knows. I just saw a white flag on Waller Johnson. Sorry, that's the only reason I saw it. Plus, he's a fellow South African. There's always a great reason. There's always a good reason to go and see how your favorite South African is doing. Well, almost said favourite driver, but that's a bit biased. Our fellow countryman. That's how you say it. Also, Alba Castro saying, you will try to sneakily curse Lenartas, no particular reason. I'm sorry, but I don't think that is very sportsmanlike. I know we've had some people smash into some other cars and force them to go straight into a wall. But this is a different kind of thing. You know, those are racing incidents most of the time. If they're not, then they will get their due right. But most of the time, yeah, racing incidents, I don't think cursing people counts as a racing incident. I think that's called witchery. There's a difference. There's a big difference. I can't wait for the next... Oh, okay, Campernics just allows Cartwright past. Okay, interesting. So Campernics not even thinking, I want to fight this, he just allows Cartwright through. They are in different classes, granted, but you don't have to give way. You have just as much right to that overall position as the other driver. So yeah, there's no particular reason why he had to do that, but he just decided in that moment, yeah, I want to do it. Again, still, same for Unikid, still not in the pits though. I can't wait to look at an incident though and go, oh yeah, some witchery going on there. Two cars collided on the exit of turn 1. Yeah, some witchery, didn't give enough space. It was a squeezing curse. Black magic for a mechanical error. Yes, that is it. That is exactly what we want. I'm sure that's what many drivers want. I'm sure that's what Schwander wants as well. 10 seconds behind Topinka after the pit stops. Topinka's just in a different league altogether. Best lap from Schwander is a 2:18.1, and Mikhail Topinka is a 2:16.9. So for Jaden Black, who asked earlier in terms of pace and the level, Topinka is above the level. He's like right at the front. We've only had 2 or 3 drivers ever challenge Topinka, and they then got so caught up in fighting each other that Topinka still managed to take the championship win. Into the final 2 minutes we go. So potentially the final lap of the race approaching. Yes, it is going to be the final lap next time round. So it's the final lap for Stein van Onneker, who is currently in P1 and yet to pit. So this is his final opportunity to pit. Is this maybe what he's been waiting for? Is this going to be his opportunity? So Nipta's actually made the position on Camperdix, hence the swap. Yes, he has remembered to come into the pits, because I think we had a similar incident last season with I can't remember who it was, but we had some guys in the Pro-Am class, 2 of them in fact, who hadn't pitted, and it was 2 minutes from the end as well. And in the end, I think they did actually get a massive penalty for that. I'm not sure how much it is though. I think you get disqualified. I got disqualified for not sticking to my stint timer in an endurance race, and that was kind of not even on me. Nipta though, looking for a position on Cartwright. Here we go into Blanchimont, and Cartwright has had some PTSD from a certain South African here. It will be taking it very nice and easy through here. Nipta though, nope, he's still going full send, maybe hung up back a little bit into the bus stop chicane though. The best opportunity for the Bentley. The boat lay down the inside, just enough space given. Yes, some good racing here. Good spatial awareness from both of them. Still absolutely, absolutely fighting. Yeah, definitely. I don't know why I said absolutely at the start of that. The Bentley down the inside now into turn 1. A little wiggle from the Ferrari, and he's still in P9 on the exit. Will the Bentley get a good run though? Will the Ferrari then just lift off into Eau Rouge? No, he won't, because he's still ahead. Lifting off through here is going to be very, very dangerous indeed. And Stein van Onneker has got a yellow flag. Same for Thomas Anartas, and same for the Bentley into the wall. Just managing to skirt the tyres there, and we've got a very slow moving car ahead. That is Stein van Onneker moving really, really slowly. Yes, indeed. And we've also had Thomas Lanartas really slowly. The number 16 and the number 666 maybe having some incidents, and it's still not caught on with the pit stop. It's still saying that Stein van Onneker needs to make the pit stop. It is the last lap, by the way, and Mikhail Topinka is making his way around Blanchimont, round turn 16 for the final time this race, into the bus stop chicane for the final time this race, through the right and left-hander for the final time this race, and it will not be the final time that he wins a race, I'm sure, because he has taken his 2nd race win of the season. Mikhail Topinka once again on the top step of the podium. However, Schwander will be taking his 1st podium of the season in the Audi. Very happy man, I'm sure, with Tim Miro P3 in the number 268 right behind him. Not too far. Kurt Peters losing out to Miro on the final on the final kind of bit of the race. Thomas Anartas currently in the race lead with Hosko right up behind him. I did not see this happening. Cars right up behind each other for the final, well, I say final couple podium positions for P1. Anartas P1, Hosko P2, and Waller Johnson in P3. Good stuff from the fellow South African on the final step of the podium. And then Carl Banning in P12 is leading the AM class. He just needs to make his way through Blanchimont nice and easily. But George Vasiliadis got a drive-through on the final lap of the race. How frustrating. The number 29, unfortunately, will have to visit the pits or just take a massive penalty by the time he gets to the finish line. So yeah, Carl Banning, though, into the final chicane of the circuit, into the bus stop, out the bus stop, across the line he comes, and Carl Banning takes a race win this season. And further down, Nicholas Mumtaz, despite some of the action we saw earlier, despite some well, I mean, it's actually been really entertaining to watch Mumtaz and his antics, and he's managed to keep hold of P14 overall and P2 for his class. He will take the second podium position, and Nick Brum, in all the chaos, that Honda who was spinning out all over the place, has taken P3 in his Honda. Good stuff from the number 8. And we've still got a few couple cars come round the final couple corners. Martinez parked at the end. So I'm looking for McNair, who's just come across the line. The final driver will be the 888, who is going to be Nick Novell in the Porsche. And that is a very bashed up Porsche. I'm sure the stewards will have a lot to chat about with this driver in particular. But through no fault of his own, yeah, he's P15. Well, I don't know. It will be up to the stewards to decide whether it was a fault of his own. P16 for Nick Novell. And you can see the penalties hitting Vasiliadis and Von Onnoker. 80 seconds and 130 seconds, respectively. Yikes. Massive, 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 massive. So, that concludes our second round of the HSR Motorsport ACC GT3 Season 7 Championship at Spa. It's been an entertaining race, to say the least, and I've also had some really entertaining conversations. It's been amazing. I've been able to rip out about 5 different accents tonight, all very horrendous, although I've got a compliment on one of them, so that's at least alright. Nipta saying that last lap took so much out of me. 2 heart attacks. Yeah, it was tough, yeah. But he managed to make a position in Camperdex and make a move on Cartwright as well. Well, no, actually you didn't. You went going into the wall at the end, didn't you? On the top of Redillon. So yeah, maybe a tough race for you, mate. But I'm sure next week you come back and you race even harder and manage to take a podium. Maybe, is that on the cards? I don't know. We'll have to see. So again, next week we've got Le Mans Ultimate on, so the ACC Championship will not be running, but join us still for that, 8 PM BST as usual, and it'll be the same in 2 weeks for round 3 at Brands Hatch for the ACC GT3 Season 7 Championship. Of course, we'll have all the standings updated and everything, so we'll have some idea of who to keep an eye on for the championship, but it usually takes about half a season to pick up on who is going to challenge for the championship lead. So find out all of that next round in 2 weeks, 8 PM BST. Also join us next week for the Le Mans Ultimate Championship. That is going to be entertaining because I finally figured out how to use the overlays. Anyways, I'll be practicing with that tomorrow, but I will see you next week, if not 2 weeks. Have a good evening. Good night.